Hello all. And welcome to episode 6. And I can't do my thing because I don't have 6 fingers on one hand. Welcome to episode 6 of Cooking with Crick. Today, we are doing something that may seem fairly basic, but is really an important foundation in cooking in general, but also a seemingly simple thing that is a little more complicated than most people think. So, we're doing a little different format today. I've gone vertical to see how this is going to work. I also have a new tool, so I'll have some good distance that we can do. So I have a slightly different tripod setup going on. That being said, we're not doing much on the counter today because, as I said, it's very simple. So let's go over materials. That's pretty much it. We have 2 eggs. I got a plate for the eggs at the end. I have some lovely salt, and this is the flaky salt. So nice to put on top of the egg after. I like that little bit. And I did not include this in the instructions, but a little sriracha on the eggs can be very tasty. I'm just throwing that out there as an option. So, and as always, I have my compost bin for the eggshells at the end. The bowl is for ice water, and I'll explain that in a minute. But for starters, I did cheat and get this water a little bit warm, just because I knew it was going to take a while to boil. So, we're starting there. So if you haven't already, head over, grab a pot, fill it. You want to make sure that it's at least a ½ inch above the egg. So if you need to put it in the water just to test it, make sure it's working. Hey Jenny, how you doing? Good to see you here. The reason you want the water at that level is so the egg cooks evenly, because if there's a tiny bit sticking above the top or the water's very close, it's not that it won't cook, it just may cook unevenly throughout the shell. So, that being said, we're going to grab some ice. We're going to put it in the bowl because we actually don't want to put the ice in too soon. And I'm not going to put the water in because the bowl's going to melt. The bowl's going to melt. I'm not going to put the water in the bowl because the ice is going to melt. So, 4 or 5 pieces of ice. That's really all you're looking for. I'm going to go an extra one. Okay. So, we have some ice in our bowl, and we have the water warm already, so I'm going to crank up the heat and get it boiling. So, what you want to do is get a nice rolling boil. You want to go all the way up. And just to check in about this technique, this is my personal way that I boil eggs. And there are so many different versions and variations out there. You pour vinegar in the water, you start the water cold and you heat the water to boiling, then you put a cover on it and you take it off the heat. And I've tried so many versions. This version, for my experience, is the best and most consistent way that I've gotten not only the types of eggs that look and taste the best, but I can do it over and over and over and over again. It's the same. So I found this, what works best for me, with not only how it cooks, the timing of how it cooks, the quickness of how it cooks, the ease of taking off the shell, and I already say the consistency? I think I did like 3 times, but that's okay. Anyway, so because I already started this water, it's already starting to boil a little bit. So, Alyssa, how's it going? Thanks for popping on here, you guys. So we're gonna bring everything over here, and bear with me on the moving around and everything with this new tripod I have, because it's my first time. Side note, I like to take the eggs out before I fill the pot with water, just to get them a little closer to room temperature so they're not shocked when they hit the boiling water, because we are putting them in at a full boil. So it's rare, it doesn't usually happen, but every now and then I've put an egg in right out of the fridge in rolling boiling water, and it cracks, just because the change in temperature is so drastic. So just to be safe, I take them out before I start, and that usually does the trick. So now we are at a great rolling boil, and this is how we do. Regular old spoon. I'm going to set up my new tripod here. If I can make it work. There we go. Sorry for the shakiness. Okay. So nice rolling boil. I don't salt the water. I don't put vinegar in it. Nothing. It's just water. That's all it is. On the spoon. And you're going to go right over to the edge and let the edge and the spoon guide it down into the water. Bam. Second one, on the edge, guide it down into the water. Bam. And timer immediately, 8 minutes. So what this is going to do is going to cook this at a solid medium boiled egg. So the white is going to be totally cooked, and the yolk is going to be slightly undone. So it's kind of like that fried egg yolk inside a boiled egg. I don't like going soft boiled because some of the white is still uncooked, and that's just me. So medium boiled and hard boiled. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take the medium boiled out at 8 minutes, and we're going to leave the other one in for 10 minutes. And you're going to see the difference in the yolk in just those 2 minutes of cooking time. There is going to be a little bit of softness to the yolk still. If you want a full cooked all the way through, nothing even close to uncooked boiled egg, 12 minutes. So from a rolling boil in to out of the pan and into the ice bath, which is what the bowl is for, 12 minutes. So we're starting there. And we have our water. So, why the ice bath? Just like potatoes that hold heat really, really well, the eggshell will hold heat very well also. So what you're doing is you're taking it from the full boil and bringing it immediately over into the ice bath. And that is going to cool down the shell and immediately stop the cooking process. But the inside of the egg is still going to be warm. And that's the key. So it's a combination of putting the egg in at the rolling boil and then stopping the cooking process immediately at whatever minute you want your egg done. So 8 is going to be a medium boil. 10 is going to be right on the edge of hard boiled. And then 12 is going to be fully cooked all the way through hard boiled. So I'm going to be doing an 8 and a 10 today. If you want to add another egg and try them all out, and just set your timer for 8 minutes, reset it for 2, reset it for 2. then you get a nice, you can see the timing consistency where, and this works every time. I have tried it multiple times just to be sure. I even did it again yesterday just to make sure I was all set for today. So it's really fantastic. I don't even have to think about it anymore. I boil the water, I put the egg in, set the timer, take it out, put it in the ice bath. It's super easy to peel, and bam, same results every time. It's pretty awesome. So I know a lot of people struggle with how to do it to peel the egg. It's like sometimes you start peeling the egg and you get chunks of egg, or peeling the shell and you get chunks of egg coming off with it. That will never happen with this technique, I promise. So, all right, water's nice and cold. We're at about 4.5 minutes left. Then we're gonna go on a couple more minutes for the other egg. And today's topic is the basics of self-care. Since we're going back to basics with cooking, I thought it'd be a good idea to work on some basic self-care stuff. So before we get there, I thought it would be cool to look up the history of boiled eggs, because eggs have been around since humans discovered chickens, which is thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. We were probably eating eggs before we were even technically human. So it's been a while. It's been a while. But I found this really interesting thing from ancient Rome. Hard-boiled eggs were so common as an appetizer that people said, and I don't know if I'm going to be pronouncing this correctly, but people said, ab ova ad mala. And that translates to from beginning of the meal to the end, or from start to finish. So the phrase of from beginning to end included a hard-boiled egg, because that's what they started their meals with, apparently. So I found that interesting. And the first known awareness of actually boiling eggs as opposed to just eating them raw was the invention of pottery at about 5000 BC. So we have been boiling eggs. We've been eating eggs for a lot longer than that, but we have been boiling eggs as a species for 5,000 years. So I thought that was kind of amazing. Such a simple little thing, and yet it's been a staple for however long. I guess it's been a staple because it's simple, right? Okay, so we got 2.5 minutes left. I'm just pacing back and forth. This is like the simplest, not even a dish, just a simple mode of cooking that I've done since I started doing these episodes. So I kind of don't know what to do with myself. So I think we're just gonna get into the topic for a second. Now, we got 2 minutes left. I could give you a rundown. So our topic is basic self-care. So just like the basics of cooking a boiled egg, it seems like it should be simple. And technically it is, but people overcomplicate it. Oh, let's try, like I said, adding vinegar or salt, or, do I put the egg in at a certain time? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing with basic self-care. It's really, really, really simple. And the bullet points that I really want to focus on: consistency is key. It's not the quantity, it's the quality and the repetition. You need to create a practice, that consistency. And we're going to hit body, mind, and spirit with the simplicity. Personally, I have my three: body, mind, and spirit. I have reading and writing for mind. I have meditation for spirit, and walks for body. It's really that simple. So I need to take a breath for a second. Talk about self-care. I've just been... So, take a breath with me. Why don't you? get out of my head. I also have some breathing techniques that help with that, by the way. Get out of your head, into your heart. It's really, really important for self-care. Did you notice how calm I am just from that one breath? And there's the timer. Okay. So, I'm going to immediately set it for 2 more minutes because of the other egg. And now, I'm going to take the first egg right out. It's okay if you have a tiny little bit of boiling water in there. No big deal. And I'm going to put it right in the ice bath. I like to give it a little stir. And I only really leave it in here for about 30 seconds, at most. That's all it really takes. Sometimes less. Like I said, you're literally just putting it in there to kind of flash cool the shell to stop the cooking process. But that's why you want to put the water in the ice right after you get the egg in the bowl. That allows the ice to cool the water for a few minutes before you actually put it in there. Otherwise, it's just room temperature water with ice in it. That doesn't help anything. So I'm now going to take it out because I don't want to continue cooling it because I want the inside to stay warm. And now we're already at about 45 seconds before we take this egg out. So in the last 30 seconds, I'll just say, how's everyone doing today? Having a good Thursday? Can't believe it's Thanksgiving next week. Craziness, right? This whole year has been craziness. Can't believe it. Okay, 15 seconds. Here we go. Yeah, I might cheat a little and just take it out early. 10, 9, 8, now we'll count it down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Burner off. Spoon in. Da, 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 da. Right in. Give it a little spin. Okay. In the meantime, I'm taking my and I'm going into my compost. By the way, eggshells, amazing in your compost. Very, very good for that whole situation. See, now, all I'm doing is cracking it a bit and then just making sure that I get a nice little area that's completely peeled. You know, that white layer that's between the shell and the egg. As long as that comes off in one spot, then you're golden. You just run your finger along the edge and it comes right off. And it does not stick. And if you're really good, you can actually, like peeling an orange, get it off in one big layer. Oh, that's some good stuff. So now I personally like to do a little rinse underwater before I eat it, because even after, almost like little tiny grains of sand, you'll have little flecks like that sometimes that stick to it. So that's a little bonus that I do, so I'm not crunching on flecks. But if you look now, and I see the softness in the middle already. So, quick rinse. Get the other egg. So that's our 8-minute egg, and here's our 10-minute egg. And again, just that edge. white layer, and there we go. So now I'm right to the white, and it just comes right off. And you'll notice, fast or slow, I am not getting any chunks. See, comes right off, and there you get a couple little dings, but that's it. It does that every time. So, food by rinse. We have our 10-minute egg, our 8-minute egg, making sure I don't mix them up. So, we're gonna cut into this, and then we're gonna chat. So, nice sharp knife, get a clean cut, and you literally just slide back and forth till you get in there, and then just let the weight of the knife come down. Bam. And look at that. The white is completely cooked, but we have a nice little bit of yolk. So that's your solid medium boiled egg. And again, rolling boil, in, out at exactly 8 minutes into the ice bath. It's gonna look like that every time. All right, we have our 10-minute egg. And now you can see the difference. Just 2 more minutes. And we have this one over here. So, like I said, if you want completely done, you want to go 12 minutes because here's cooked all the way through, right? But then you have a slightly undercooked area there. It is solid, but it's not liquid. It's just slightly underdone. So that's still a good egg, but I'll let the cat out of the bag now. For Thanksgiving, my Thanksgiving episode next week, we're gonna make, because we're already on the egg kick, so we're gonna make deviled eggs. And with deviled eggs, you want to make sure that it's actually all the way cooked through, because it's not gonna mix with all the other ingredients as well, unless it's a little more solid. So we're gonna do the full 12 minutes on those eggs for the deviled. But anyway, it's that simple, folks. And this is Malden sea salt, by the way. Little bigger flecks, so it's going to sit slightly differently on the egg. But just a little sprinkle, a little sprinkle, a little sprinkle, a little sprinkle. And as I mentioned, I was never a huge fan of sriracha. I did enjoy it, but my wife actually is a huge fan of sriracha, and because it's always in the house, I've tried it on more things. And I've actually learned to love it on eggs. So we're gonna go on one each, and just a couple drops. That's all you need. Your 8 and 10-minute egg. Every single time if you follow that recipe, and they're super tasty. Now, all right then. Now, we're gonna chat a little while I eat my delicious eggs. Cheers. Still warm in the center, and even the white is still a little bit warm too. So I am so glad I troubleshooted my way to that, because, oh man, fantastic. And the look of just I'm about to devour this thing that I get from my wife. Worth the effort, for sure. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Yes, you did catch me at the perfect moment. So, keeping my notes up, my computer keeps shutting down. Okay, so I really wanted to address the simplicity of self-care, because you can always get more elaborate. But I find, and I've had trouble with this too, until I found this kind of regimen that I'm on, my practice. Super challenging, especially when you have kids. And obviously my go-to is fathers, and that need to take care of yourself while also taking care of someone else. Now, this applies across the board for everybody, but I know it's especially challenging for parents. And being a father myself, it took me probably about 1.5 to 2 years before I actually got on a schedule of consistency with a routine and my practice for self-care. And I have to throw it out there for my wife, because I'm so grateful that we were able to collaborate and talk it through, and we now have a consistent morning ritual that she can take our daughter for a little while so I can do that, and then we flip-flop for her stuff as well. And again, it's an ongoing process. It takes time, hence why it's called a practice. So basic, body, mind, spirit. You gotta hit all three. But you don't have to go crazy, right? What I said in the beginning. For body, walks. If you have time to work out and put in an hour or a 20-minute workout, fan-frickin-tastic. Do that. If you don't, go for a walk. 10 minutes. 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. Just move your body. Get outside. I know some people just aren't a fan of hitting the gym, or especially now during COVID, if you don't have access, and not everyone likes working out at home. But as I said, as long as you're doing the basics, it will still help. Go for a walk. Get your body moving. Meditation. Absolutely huge. I've harped on this before. If you don't like the idea of meditation or you're unfamiliar, sit quietly with yourself. Call it whatever the hell you want, but just do it. And my bottom rung, basement level meditation is 6 minutes. I set a timer on my phone for 6 minutes. I close my eyes and focus on my breath. That's it. It is amazing how much ease can come from just that amount. My general go-to is at least 10. Sometimes I'll do 15. I know I have friends who do hour-long meditations. I'm not there yet. But at least 6 minutes. And again, from a meditation perspective, if this is not your forte, there are a million videos on any platform out there that will do some guided meditation. There's a ton of 10-minute long meditations that you can do. I would recommend starting with that. You don't want to go over 10, and start with guided, because you can just focus on the voice. Because I know a lot of people have a challenge with just doing a silent meditation because they get frustrated and just go off, and I'm not doing it right. So, a little tip with regard to meditation. Think of it like sitting on the side of the road and there's traffic, right? If you can read a book on the side of the road, you can meditate. You're thinking of all the cars going by as thoughts, right? You don't have to pay attention to every single car, but sometimes maybe a big truck will go by. It makes a different noise than the regular cars, so it draws your attention, right? But what do? You look up, and then you go back to your book. Same thing. You're always focusing on your breath not to get anything done, but simply to shut off as much as possible so you can listen to source, listen to your higher self, listen, whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, source. In my opinion, it's all the same thing. Your intuition. The goal is just to get as focused as possible on the sensation of your breath and allow. That's it. You're not trying to do anything, you're just allowing. And you'll be amazed at how you feel, what comes into your head. If you journal afterwards, like, where the hell did that come from? That's kind of amazing. And it's, especially in the morning, huge for a beneficial ongoing day to start it with that. So the walk, the meditation, and the reading and writing, as I said, journaling, if that's something you enjoy. If not, that's fine too. But I read at least 10 minutes in the morning, I meditate for at least 6 minutes, and I go on an afternoon walk. That is my self-care regimen. And it's that simple. As I said, quality and consistency over quantity. If you can only do 6 minutes, great. If you can do 6 minutes, 3 or 4 days a week, if not 5, 6, or 7, versus 15 or even 10, do the 6. It's better to have it every day than longer on certain days. It would be the same to just wait until you're starving and then shovel as much food in until you're so full you can barely move. That's stupid. So you're not gonna make it up if you do a longer session in the moment. You're much better off doing smaller amounts and staying consistent with it. So at least 6-minute meditation. I like the 10-minute read and a little journaling either from what you're reading or after your meditation, and then a 5 or 10-minute walk. That is the solid, basic self-care regimen. And once you have that established, it, like anything else that you do consistently, it stays easier. I got Johnny saying, consistency is where I fall over. This is good advice. Okay, awesome, cool. So, but this is true of so many things that, you know, I'm personally working on as well. That needs, like going to the gym, right? Oh, if I only do 5 minutes, then what did that do? But if you do 5 minutes every single day, you could do 5 push-ups. Well, what did that do? Well, what did it do if you did it every single day, right? So it's not about jamming as much as possible into a smaller moment. It's about creating as much as possible in general. So if you do that smaller bits over time, as opposed to one big chunk, if you can go back and forth between the two and you have the space and the time, great. But if not, always favor the smaller chunks. Because number one, they're easier to get done. They're not dismissed away because, an hour-long workout, I don't have the time for that. And then you just go on with your day. But 5 minutes or 5 push-ups, do it right before you get in the shower, right? You don't have to get your weights set up and your video set up and follow, stretch and then warm up and then cool down. And if you can, fantastic, do that. But if you can't, just do the little bits. The little bits over time. I want to make sure that I feel like I'm talking in circles a little bit. I want to make sure I hit all the points. No, we're good. Okay. So, I like to do it in the morning because you're much more connected to, again, whatever you want to call it, your intuition, source, God, the universe, because you just woke up. Even if it's an hour after you woke up, you're still more connected to that part of your existence than you would be if you did it mid or late in the day. That's not to say if you do it mid or late in the day that it's a bad thing. Still works, still beneficial. It's just, I find really, really beneficial in the morning before I start my day. So, review. We're just about 40 minutes now. So, body, mind, and spirit, very important. hit all three. Reading and writing for mind. Keeps your brain sharp to read. Also it gets things out of your head when you write, instead of just having it go over and over and over again, right? 10 minutes to read, however long you want to write. It could be 30 seconds, doesn't matter. Just get something out of your head, something that you can then look back on and review. Meditation, at least 6 minutes, if not 10. If you can eventually get to 15, I think that's pretty solid. But 6 minutes, fantastic for me. And then the walk. Just getting out and moving your body. And I know people that will walk 5 miles instead of running for half a mile, because you're not exerting yourself as much, but that's still more exercise, right? You're just easing into it, which is totally fine. Once you have this established, this practice, you can then move on to more. You stack things on top of that. Maybe you do a 20-minute meditation. Maybe you read for a half an hour. Point is, if you get a solid foundation and you're consistent with it, it becomes part of your daily routine. It's that much easier to graduate to more. But if you do nothing, and then slam as much as you can, not only are you drinking out of a fire hose, but nothing sticks. So, because you're drinking out of a fire hose. So most of that is just falling by the wayside, and you're not getting the benefit that you would. What was the spirit side of it again? Johnny, I love you, man. I appreciate the questions. Spirit side is the meditation. So, body, mind, spirit. Walking, reading and writing, meditation. Those are your 3. 5-10 minute walk, 6, 10 or 15 minute meditation, and then a couple minutes of writing as a kind of a follow-up to either your reading or your meditation. And I have used it for both. I wouldn't assume to recommend specifically writing for one or the other. It's an amazing mind and brain dump to write after you meditate. But there's also stuff that comes up as you're reading that just, I never thought of something like that. And make yourself a note or something like that. So there's the review, body, mind, spirit. I take an hour every day. The first little bit, I kind of settle in, 5 or 10 minutes just to be alone and not have this responsibility for my daughter. And that's important too. Just taking a breath and having a moment to not have urgency, right? As parents, especially as fathers, because I'm not saying mothers don't have this, but I'm not a woman, so I don't know what that's like. I just know what it's like to be a father. So, really important to just kind of chill out for a bit. Then I do my 10-minute meditation. Then I read for most of the time left. It's usually 10 to 15 minutes. Then I'll do some writing. I will default to reading for the longest chunk because I enjoy that. But you can break it up however you want to. So I believe that is all. So as I said, really, really simple. Just stay as consistent as you can with it. Better to do it every day than better to do the minimum every day than the maximum once or twice a week. Always better. And then back to the eggs. Rolling boil. Lowering your eggs in. 8 minutes for medium boiled, 10 minutes for almost hard boiled, and 12 minutes for fully hard boiled. Then the Malin sea salt and a little bit of sriracha. And I'm going to have my second one right now. Just reading some comments. The timing of your video has been perfect for me, brother. I'm going to stick down. Awesome. Johnny, happy to be of service, my friend. It's my buddy Johnny from England. So he said he's hitting the sack. Must be pretty late over there, or wherever he is. You are a traveler, Johnny, so I'm not sure where you are, but anyway. Yes, the eggs to finish. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Good seeing you here. So, thank you for tuning in to Cooking with Crick, episode 6. Next week, as I said, will be my Thanksgiving episode where we're going to do deviled eggs. And we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine, not male and female. And if you don't know the difference, you're going to find out. So there we go. Big love back, Johnny. Thanks. And thank you everyone else for tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time. I've really enjoyed doing these episodes, and I feel like slowly but surely I'm kind of settling into the format, and we'll see how it goes. So for any of you who have interest in any of the tools and practices that I have put out in any of these videos, but especially specifically this one, feel free to reach out to me. You can private message me on Facebook or shoot me an email. I know, old school, right? It's chrisoneil@hotmail.com. And yes, I still use Hotmail. Shut up. Chris O'Neil, spelled CRISONEIL @hotmail. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks again for tuning in. And I'll see you for the Thanksgiving episode. It's gonna be fun. Damn, that really is good. Cooking with Crick, episode 6. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.